Okay, so the interface might look overwhelming at first, but we will change that within the first 5 minutes, hopefully. So first of all, let's make sure that we all have the same exact Photoshop. So we do this by changing something called the workspace. Now the workspace is the preference of how you view your Photoshop. So you decide which panels you want to see and which tools. And to do this, we need to go to Window, Workspace, and you'll see a bunch of different workspaces. So you have photography, for instance, which is for photography. If you select painting, it will be all the painting related panels. So you'll have your brushes and your swatches, which is where you save color. But for the purpose of this course, we will select Essentials. Now, you can move panels around. So if you click on a panel and then you click on another one and another one, you can literally start playing with your panels. You can also close panels. Now your interface is starting to look messy, right? So the best way to fix this is to go to Window, Workspace, and Reset Essentials. This will put everything back into its place, just like Mary Poppins, which is great for people with OCD like me who like everything to be tidy. So you can always go back to Window, Workspace, and reset your essentials. Okay, so let's give you the little tour. So at the top, you have the menu bar, and this will look slightly different on a PC. I'm currently using a Mac, so it looks a certain way. The same information is there. So file is where you place your documents, where you open documents, where you save documents and print them. Edit is where you copy and paste and undo and redo. Now I tend to just use shortcuts for these, so I don't tend to use this very often. Now I'm just going to skip to the ones that are useful to you right now. So view is where you can change how you view your Photoshop, so you can zoom in and out and stuff like that. I'll give you shortcuts for that as well. Now window is pretty important. Window is where all the panels live. So remember, these are panels, and if you're ever looking for one, it will be under Window, and this is for all Adobe software. So say you were looking for swatches. If you click on it, it will highlight swatches. Okay, so a little bit more about these panels. So over here you have the properties panel, and this is where it gives you properties or more information about your page or a shape that's selected. Now currently we just have our page, so it's giving us information about that. Now below you have a very important panel, and that's the layers panel. In here you will see Artboard 1. Now this is Artboard 1. It's like a blank canvas or blank page. And you can hide this artboard by clicking on the eye. This will hide it. You can show it. Hide. Show. And this is where you place all your layers in, which will be clarified later. Okay, just so you know, this section over here is a replication of the properties panel. So later on, you'll have the same options in the properties panel as you will have in this area. Now this bar is super important, and it's the toolbar. You can view it in a single column, or you can click on little arrows and view it into 2 columns. This is totally up to you. Now the tools are so important because every time you need to do something in Adobe Photoshop, you need to go to the particular tool for that. Now the most important tool is the Move tool, this one, because if you ever need to move something, you need to go to the Move tool. So I would like you to remember to always revert back to the Move tool as a default. Now if you hover over this icon, you will see the name, and in brackets, the shortcut. So V is a shortcut, the very important tool. So this means that if you press V on your keyboard, it will automatically take you to the Move tool. Now you might not see this little preview, this little video, depending on which software, which version of the software you're using, or if you're using a Mac, but that doesn't matter. You'll still have the name and the shortcut, which is the most important. Now, these tools also have a little triangle next to them, and that means that if you right-click on them, you'll have more options for that specific tool. More on that later. And then over here, you have the color, foreground color, and background. Now, if you double-click on this, you can choose the color that you would like to work with. And then if you click on OK, that color will be applied, even though we currently have nothing on our document. So right now we don't see the color on our document. Okay, so now for a few very important shortcuts. So in terms of shortcuts, just remember that if you're using a Mac, shortcuts will start with Command. And if you're using a PC, they will start with Control. And so for zooming in, you can go the long way around by going to View, Zoom In, Zoom Out. Or you can go to Command plus or Control plus, which is the shortcut. And Command minus to zoom out. Command plus to zoom in. Command minus to zoom out. And then fit to screen is Command 0. Now you can also use something called the grab hand tool, which allows you to grab your page around. You can do this by holding down the spacebar and clicking and dragging. This is pretty useful. I use this a lot. Now, if at any point you make a mistake and you regret it, you can always go to Edit, Undo, or Command or Control Z. Now, currently we haven't done anything, so we don't actually need to undo anything. But just so you know for the future. So this is it for the little tour of the interface. I hope that was useful to you and that it looks a little bit less overwhelming. We will be using everything, so it will become second nature to you.